If you were to just relax in social situations and force yourself to have a good time, your social anxiety would disappear. I know this because I'm a living example of this. I used to be someone who was introverted. I used to be socially awkward. I used to be socially anxious around 10th and 9th grade. And that's because after COVID-19, hopefully I don't get banned for saying that, but after COVID-19, I stayed home the entire time. I lost all my social skills, and it wasn't just me. It was plenty of other people around the planet. I lost my fucking social skills. I lost my ability to connect with human beings. So talking to people was very difficult for me. But I've managed to manually build my social skills up back again and get extremely good at this because I knew that was going to be important in the upcoming years of the AI tech revolution that's coming for us all. I knew that human connection was going to be more powerful and more important. So I decided to embark on this journey to get extremely good at social skills and extremely good at making human connection because it's extremely valuable and it's only going to appreciate in value in the upcoming years. So I started to research on how to talk to people because I used to find it so fucking hard. I had the worst social anxiety ever. Genuinely. I would try to talk to people. I would overthink every single word I'd say. I would never make friends because I was so awkward. I wasn't normal. That's what it was. So, but I realized that after building social skills, after learning all the lessons the hard way, I finally come to the conclusion that talking to people is actually easy. And the first reason why I know this is because people talk to other people to have fun. If you think about extroverts, what do extroverts do? They talk to people, but when you see them talking to one another in groups, they're always laughing, they're always joking here and there. They're talking because it's fun and it makes them feel good. So that's all people do. Like, think about when you look at someone and then you start talking to them. As soon as you start talking to someone who kind of looks lonely or sad, they instantly smile, and it's evolutionarily hardwired into them. Because think about it. Evolutionarily, when you would talk to one another, that would increase your chances of survival in the tribe. So if you talk to one another or you start talking to someone, they instantly smile. All these hormones release, these dopamines, these serotonins, these bonding hormones. It makes them feel good. So people talk primarily because they want to have fun. They want to feel good. They want to feel human connection. We have evolved this way as humans. So once I figured that out and I stopped taking everything so seriously and stopped overthinking, I started to just fun max and conversation. And as soon as I started to do that, all the conversations I've had were smooth as butter. And there was a lot more fun to be in. Like I said in the beginning, if you were to just relax and let yourself have a good time, conversations would be easier and your social anxiety would disappear. So there's some tangible things that I started to do in order to fun max in conversation, because people have conversations to have fun. How do I have fun? How do I allow myself to relax? So the first thing I started to do was that I've noticed whenever I go into a social situation, I would feel nervous. And the reason why I would feel nervous, I analyzed this, it was because I would hold my breath for some reason. That's how socially anxious I was. So that's the first thing I noticed. I noticed that I was holding in my breath. So what I started to do is I started to deliberately, consciously start taking deep breaths and breathing fully through my body. Like a fucking lion. Think about a lion. How a lion breathes. They're not breathing shallow like, they're breathing like deep, like with deep breaths. That's what I started to do. And that made me more relaxed in social situations. What I also started to do is that I analyze the best social people in the world, which are drunk people. People go to bars, they get drunk, and they talk to one another and they stay social. The reason why you can be very good socially when you're drunk is not only because you're not really conscious, but it's also because you're acting more goofy. You don't feel this pressure. You're just sitting there, chilling, having a good time. So what I started to do is I started to adapt this into my day-to-day life. I started to act 50% more retarded in conversations to fun max. And I'm telling you, when you fun max like this by acting 50% more retarded, when you act sillier, when you take things less seriously, all of a sudden you start having much more fun. You start making funny faces or funny sounds. You start making fun of people, having banter, and you start laughing and having fun. That's what I started to do. That was the first thing that really, really jump-started and ignited my social life. I started to fix it completely after that horrible 2-year period. It wasn't horrible. I played like Xbox every day, but that 2-year period when I stayed home, I didn't talk to anyone except my family, and who wants to talk to their family? No one. I mean, talk to your mom, right? I talk to my mom, but my sisters, I'm not talking to them. But that's what really started to first help me ignite that social life. Now, the second thing I started to do is I started to say things of shock value. So what I would say some like crazy stuff that brings a reaction. Like sometimes I'll call my friend, okay, never mind. I'm not going to say that. It might get me banned on YouTube. I don't want to get banned, but I'll call them like a German. We're going to say that. I'll call them a German or something. Or I'll say outrageous things like you're gay or you're racist or like you're Indian so you smell bad or, just racist stuff. So I would say things of shock value, things that would be like, whoa, it's kind of controversial. It could offend someone, but I would say these things and it would bring a reaction to my friends and they'll be like, whoa, and they'll start laughing. If you say things of shock value, it makes everything much more fun. It's fun because you hear some crazy stuff. Imagine if you just had a boring conversation like, oh, you're such a good person. Yeah, you're a really nice guy. It's not fun. You know what's more fun? Making fun of your friends. That's what's fun. Like, oh, you're a fucking piece of shit. I hope you get ran over by a car. Like, you see how something like that is shock value? It's like, whoa. But you know what I mean? It makes it more fun. And that's what I started to do. Now, don't overdo this. Don't say something like ridiculous, like I hope your granny passes away. Don't say some dumb shit. Use this wisely. You gotta use your brain a little bit. That's what I started to do. I started to say things of shock value to fun max in conversation so that I can let myself to relax and have an easy time talking to people. I'd also start saying gay and racist jokes. And that's just my kind of humor. If it's not your kind of humor, then I don't even know why you're watching me, but I find gay jokes and racist jokes funny. So I would make those kind of jokes and people think it's a problem. Like, oh, you make a gay joke, you make a racist joke, people are going to get offended. That might be true. However, if I'm talking to someone and I say a joke like that and they get offended, I was never going to be their friend anyways. That friendship was never going to work out. So there's no point in me putting on this facade that I think all these jokes are super bad and they're evil because I find them funny. So I might as well find other people that find them funny and laugh with them and be my authentic real self. That's extremely important. So that's what I started to do to fun max because people talk to each other because they want to have fun. The second reason why talking to people is actually easy is because when I was first trying to become more social and build up my social skills up, I was an autistic overthinker. I would overthink everything because what happens is when you don't talk to people and you're an introvert, you tend to think about things a lot. You tend to think about actions or why this person make a face. You're just stuck in your own head. So I would overthink a lot. So what I started to do when I wanted to build my social skills, and at this time, around 2022, 2023, when I was in 9th and 10th grade, I started watching these podcasts of Andrew, I don't know if I say these things, it might get me banned, but it was Andrew Tate, basically. I started watching his podcast and I noticed something that when I watched his podcast, I was actually interested in hearing what he has to say. The reason why is because he was so good at speaking. I didn't know people could get that good at speaking. So I was like, okay, how cool would that be if I had that ability? How cool would that be if I could just walk into any room and speak with captivating influence just flowing out of my mouth? That would be a freaking superpower. So that's what I started to do. Since I was an autistic overthinker, I thought, you know what? If I want to become more social, if I want to make more friends, I need to become the best fucking speaker I could possibly be. So for the past year now, I've been speaking on camera, and what I've been doing is that I've been recording myself. I've been speaking on random topics. I've been speaking on stories. I'll record myself. I'd pause the video I would rewatch it. I would analyze it. I would see if I'm entertaining or not. Do I speak fast enough? Is my energy high? What am I doing with my hands? Am I moving too much? I would analyze all of these micro things, and eventually what happens is it compounds over a year and you become extremely good at speaking like I am now. So that's what I started to do. Now, do you need to do this to have a good social life and talk to people? No, you fucking don't. You don't need to be very good at speaking. You don't need to be as good as me, as good as Tate, as good as all these other speakers. Jordan Peterson's a very good speaker. You don't need to be as good as them. But it was absolutely worth it for me. I could never go back to the person who I was before. If I didn't have this speaking ability now, I would feel less powerful than I do right now. When you have this speaking ability, this ability to speak extremely well in a fast manner that's concise, you feel powerful. You feel like you have a superpower, and it makes life easier. Imagine you just go about life with a superpower. Wouldn't you want to acquire as many superpowers as possible? I think that way. I want to acquire as much superpowers as possible. So I want to get good at speaking, right? Because every single aspect of your life, any single scenario you go to is gonna be easier if you can speak extremely fucking well. It's no way it's gonna detriment your life in any shape or form. If you can master speaking, that's gonna do fucking wonders for you and you will never regret it. Promise. So that's what I started to do. Do you need to do this in order to start talking to people? No. In fact, I don't even use my speaking ability in conversation when I'm talking to people. I'm not speaking like how I am now. I'm just speaking like chill. I speak slow, like, oh yeah, so you went to the park, whatever. Oh, that's cool. What'd you do there? Very slow, very simple. I'm not usually doing the hand movements. I'm just chilling, having a good time. You don't need to be that good at speaking. So that means that talking to people is actually easier than I thought it would be. But would I go back to not knowing how to speak? No. I want to know how to speak extremely fucking well because it makes me feel powerful and it makes me feel secure and it's something I can pull out whenever, and I do use it in conversation, but you don't need to use it in conversation if you get what I'm saying. So for that reason, talking to people is actually fucking easy. You're sitting there, you're watching this, you had all this social anxiety, like, oh my god, like, talking to people is so fucking hard. Easy. I'm telling you, it's fucking easy. This is from someone who's made the transformation. I had the worst social anxiety, and now I can talk to fucking anyone. And be calm, and have fun, and be charismatic. It's fucking easy. Now, the third reason why talking to people is easy is because you attract people that are like you. When I first started to actually go about building my social skills, like I said, I try to impress other people. I try to appease other people. I would talk about things they're interested in. I would try to compliment them. I would kind of put them on a pedestal, and I'd put myself on a lower pedestal. This is not what you want to do. You don't want to do that, because what happens is, okay, I'm making sure the camera's on, because I don't want to record this whole thing and it turn off. But when you put people on a pedestal, what happens is that you start appeasing them and you start coming in with this needy energy, this disgusting needy energy. Like, imagine if you met a celebrity. Imagine if you met, what's a celebrity name? Okay, let's say LeBron James. Let's say you met LeBron James and you're like, oh my gosh, LeBron James, I know everything about you. You started in the Cavaliers in fucking 2003. Oh my gosh, you won like 4 final. You see how that's weird? You're coming in with needy energy, like this weird clingy energy. If you're LeBron James, you're gonna look at yourself like, get the fuck away from me. Get away from me. That's how you're gonna feel like. So, when you try to impress others, and when you try to impress others, you put other people on a pedestal, which forces you into this weird, disgusting, needy energy. And needy energy is the most unattractive energy on the fucking planet. That's why people, when they see homeless people, they avoid them because they have needy energy, right? So, you don't want to do that. That's what I was doing. I put people on a pedestal. I had this needy energy. I completely got rid of that. And the reason why is because instead of trying to appease other people, even if you try to appease them, you would never be their friend anyways. It's like the joke example I gave earlier. If I made like a racist joke or something and they got offended, we're never going to be friends anyways. So what's the point of me trying to appease that person by not saying those jokes? Oh, you're Indian, you're black. Like, what's the point of me trying to appease this person by not saying those jokes? There's no fucking point. So, you attract who you are. Just be yourself. That's what I started to do. I started to genuinely be myself, say the jokes I wanted to say, talk about the topics I wanted to talk about. What happened is that I would talk to people and I would find more people who are like me. Because those are the only people that I was going to be friends with anyways. There's no point of appeasing anyone. There's no point of trying to put people on a pedestal, trying to oppress others. There's no fucking point. You're never going to be friends with them anyways, the people you try to appease. You can only hold up a facade for so long. So I started to just be myself, and I started to attract more friends like me. And turns out, when you have more people like you around you, you have a great fucking time. You make the same jokes, you do the same things, and your social life is fucking awesome, and talking to people becomes much more easier because everyone around you is just like you. That's what it is. Now, I talk about a lot of this stuff in the communication lab. This is the program I have where I teach people how to go from socially awkward to socially sharp. I made this fucking transformation, this life-changing transformation. I know a lot of people struggle with this, especially after the lockdown, especially as we enter into the AI age where everything's going to become more digitalized and people are going to be sucked into the Instagram metaverse and sucked into virtual machines, and they're going to lose. The average mean of people are going to lose social skills and human connections, which means that for the people who have them, they're going to become valuable people. Stand-up comedians are going to become more valuable than ever before. Probably the highest people, the highest paid people, or one of the highest paid occupations on the fucking planet in the next 5 to 10 years. That's what I'm assuming. So that's why I wanted to invest in these skills. So if you want to invest in these skills and you want to go from socially awkward to socially sharp, you can just check the link in the description. That's my program. That's where I'll teach you everything. And I talk about more of this stuff I'm talking about now in there. So, and the fourth reason why talking to people is actually easy is because a lesson that I had to learn the hard way. In 10th grade, it was 11th grade actually, I was in this class. It was a computer science class. Basically, it was AP, and we were learning coding, like real fucking coding. Not the ones where you put the blocks together, like real fucking typing code. It was legit, and it was an AP class, and this teacher, she was fucking Asian, so the class was extra hard when it's an AP and the teacher's Asian. So, this class was super fucking hard, and the teacher put a cherry on top. The teacher wanted to get a promotion from a teacher to an administrator. So this lady is teaching us everything we need to know about coding. She's trying to make sure we all have the good grades. We all are pushing ourselves in class. It's a fucking nightmare class. So I'm in this class and I generally don't like this teacher. I just don't like her vibe. There's something about it which I just feel that's off about her. So what happens is the year goes on, and I'm chilling, but I feel for some reason this weird energy around this lady. Like she dislikes me. And maybe it's because I didn't come to school 3 out of 5 days a week, which could be why, and I was fucking selling her promotion, but that could be why. That probably played a part in it. However, when I would talk to this lady, I'd feel this weird energy, but I came down to it. Because I would feel this weird energy with other people as well. And what I started to notice is that there's a weird phenomenon amongst people that are socially awkward, like my past self. When I was socially awkward, I would dislike people. The reason why I would dislike people is because I didn't talk to them. I don't feel any empathy for them if you don't talk to them. So I just dislike them. What happens when you dislike someone is that it blocks all the ability from you to have empathy. It blocks all the ability from you to feel or to be warm and friendly around this person. So what happens is people mirror energy. So if I'm sitting here and I'm not warm and friendly to this person thinks I don't like them. So in turn, this person doesn't like me. You know what I mean? So I started to notice this, and after a while, I started to talk to more people, and I started to just chill and relax and stop overthinking. I started to just find things I liked about people. And when I started to do that, and I started to force myself to like people much more, I unlocked this ability to have rapport with this person and feel warm and friendly with them. And all of a sudden, I became a more likable person, right? Think about someone who hates you. I don't know who it is, but if there's someone in your life that fucking hates you, you don't like them. And the reason why is because you feel this weird energy around them. You know, they're not super warm and friendly towards you. They don't make jokes with you. They don't check up on you. Hey, how are you? They don't do any of that shit. So that's what happened with me. I was that guy. And once I started to lighten my heart, not care as much, and just turn my brain off in social interactions, and just have a fun time, fun max, I started to like people a lot more, which made me more friendly. So literally, just by the fact that you don't hate people, and you have a fun time and relax and chill and fun max, that's gonna make you much more warm and friendly towards people, which is also gonna make talking to people easy. That's what happened with me. That's a really autistic level thing that happened with me, and I'm telling you, as soon as I just stopped hating people, as soon as I just started to find things I like about people, I admire about them, I compliment them on it, all of a sudden this warmth and friendliness starts glowing out of me, and I can talk to people now. So much fucking easier, and that weird energy is gone. Now the very last reason why talking to people is easy is because of retard maxing. This is a term that I hear in the business space a lot. I like money. Who doesn't fucking like money, right? I learn about business. That's what I do. So in this business space, this entrepreneurship space, there's this term called retard maxing. Retard maxing is basically, let's say you want to start a business, right? Instead of starting a business and overthinking everything and thinking about every single step and who you're going to target to and who's going to buy the product and why would they care to buy the product, instead of thinking, you just do. Like, what would a retard do? A retard would say, okay, well, if I sell keychains, I make money. Okay, so let me get a keychain. Hey, do you want to buy the keychain? They take action. Because they're stupid, basically. And this is something that I've seen. It's a weird phenomenon. The dumber people are, the better socially they are. I've seen some dumb people in my fucking school. People that are not, I'm not calling them dumb, like they're not intellectual, but they just don't care. They just don't think. You know, they just let their brain turn off and they just relax and they live in the present moment. And these people, they just are so charismatic for no reason. Because they just let themselves relax. They're retards, but they let themselves relax and they're very good socially. They'll talk to people and they'll just say words like, oh, hey, that's a cool watch. Where'd you get it? Like, they say it like an idiot. You know what I mean? But for some reason, they're just so good at socializing. The dumber people are, the better at socializing they are. That's what I've seen, because the smarter you are, you start overthinking. Should I compliment them on the watch? Should I ask him? Will he get offended by it? If you're a retard, you're not thinking of any of this. You're like, oh, it's a nice watch. Oh, what the hell? What happened to your hair? It makes you much more better socially. So, retard maxing in the business space is more effective. They say that because if you just take action instead of thinking in your head, you're going to make progress. The retard is going to make more progress in business than the analytic overthinker is. Same thing with talking to people. The person who's a fucking retard is going to make more progress in making connections, talking to people, making friends. They're going to make more progress in that because they just take action and they turn their brain off and they're not analytic overthinkers than the guy who's sitting there like a fucking philosopher with a fucking feather pen writing in his notebook, overthinking everything. You get what I'm saying? So, For all these reasons, talking to people is actually easy. And in 2026, there's absolutely no reason why people should have social anxiety. There's no reason why you should have social anxiety. There's no fucking reason. I changed my life completely head to toe. I made this video off the top of my fucking head. Yeah, I planned it here and there, but I made it off the top of my head, bro. And I can speak extremely well. I can talk to people. I can have friends. And I'm not scared to talk to people anymore. Before I was genuinely scared to talk to people, but I got to thinking about myself like, wait, no matter how rich I get in life, no matter how successful I am, no matter how much muscle I make and working out, no matter how handsome, how much I look, Max, what girl is gonna wanna fuck me if I'm scared to talk to people in conversation? Think about it. What girl's gonna wanna fuck me, bro? So I'm like, what? This is something that I need to get down. This is very important, especially in the upcoming years where everything is gonna get digitalized. I worked at a gas station. And I remember my coworkers talking about how they're gonna integrate AI into that gas station. They're going to integrate AI into that gas station, and all businesses around the world are doing this. Microsoft, they fired like 14K employees. Amazon, they hired about the same amount, 15K employees, and they're replacing them with AI. And what's going to happen is that since everything is going to be filled with robots, we're going to be living in a world with artificial intelligence left, right, and center. The only thing that's going to become valuable and worth something is human connection. The rarer something is, the more valuable it is. Diamonds are valuable because they're rare. So in a world of robots, what's going to become rare? Humans. Human connections. Authentic human connections. That's the skill that I wanted to invest in. So I started to do that. I got very good at it. And I'm helping people just like you who are socially awkward to do this for themselves and set themselves up for life, basically. So, if you want to learn about that, if you want to learn about all the stuff I'm talking about more, I have beginner tips, I have advanced tips. The link is in the description. It's going to change your life. But talking to people is easy. I don't want you going about your life thinking that, yeah, talking to people is hard, people judge me. Talking to people is fucking easy, man. It's in your human nature. It's evolutionarily hardwired in you. It's fucking easy, bro. So, yeah. What are the reasons I talked about, just to quickly recap? Talked about, fun. People talk because they want to have fun. So if you just fun max, talking to people is easy. Talked about how you attract who you are. So talking to people is easy because the people who you're going to attract are going to be just like you, which is going to make them easy to talk to. I talked about Talked about how not hating people, like how hard is it to not hate people? If you don't hate people and you find things to like about them, you're automatically going to build rapport and warmth and fun. Talking to people is fucking easy, man. So if you want to learn more about this topic, link is in the description. But other than that, I'll see you.